Um, okay, so we're looking at the e-classroom, and that's what this looks like this here. All right, and as I said before, um, there are textbooks for you to download. Please download both of them. Probably create a little folder where you can put all these things in. The course outline, um, the the concept map. I was just chatting with you guys about self-analysis. So there's an assignment where you have to go about doing a self-analysis. So to assist you with it, there's a personality test questionnaire, and the interpretation for it here. So you could download both those documents. This here is a link to an online personality test. It's called the 16 personalities. It's a free personality test you can take online. Have any of you all ever taken this before?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Right?
No, sir.
So,
No.
right. So what you want to do is probably do it a second time because sometimes as you develop in the world or time, you might find that it will change a little bit. So you're free to do it more than once because things do change after a time. This here is a learning style inventory test. Um, some of you may have done this in FYEC 100, but if you haven't, this will actually reveal what your learning preferences are. If you've never done this, it's a good thing to do because it really just speaks to what are your preferences to learning, and it also gives a little insight into who you are as a person as well. So again, these are all free tests that you take, and it gives you some food for self-analysis, which is why it's listed under the tools for your self-analysis activity, and you'd see what that's going to be about. The next big item is going to be the course schedule with assignment dates. We'll come back to that in more detail. That's this document here, and we're going to be working with that today. Over here, we have the link to the e-classroom. And for those of you who have not yet joined the WhatsApp chat group, this is the link for it as well. The chat group allows me to communicate with you all very rapidly, and it doesn't utilize a lot of data connectivity, as most of you probably have some sort of WhatsApp groups and whatnot. In fact, I expect when we set up subgroupings in the class that you always start to create WhatsApp chat groups within those linkages to maintain your connectivity with members of the classroom. Um, this is sort of like today we had this major surge of electricity in my area. It would have been interesting if that was the case that happened pretty late in the afternoon and I lost power. I could quickly message you all and let you all know what's happening and whether or not I could host the class or whether or not we run the class on the phone. Depends upon what's happening in the classroom at the time. I can do certain things. All right. But at least we'll be able to communicate with each other rapidly and you'd know exactly what's happening. And if there are any issues, we could communicate very quickly as well. The On the schedule, we'll see that I'm going to be presenting these three chapters here, but so I've already preloaded the PowerPoint presentations for them, and we'll see what the significance or the schedule is going to look at. I will be recording those presentations just in case people like Miss Hudlin and others miss the class. They could go back and view the recording. The recordings will be YouTube linked, so I'll record and I'll load them up on YouTube, and then I will put the linkages here so that you can go and retrieve those recordings and view them at your own time and space. Um, there are assignments that you have to submit, and obviously there's a section here for the submission of assignments, and these assignments reflect the various sorts of activities that we have to get up to, and you'd see there are some dates here already attached to them, and we'll discuss those dates in a little bit. 30% for group presentation, 20% for mid-semester reflections, self-analysis 20%, reflections and leadership action plan 15%. And we'd notice if we add that together, we still have 15% missing, which means there's another activity, which is the debate activity, that is already scheduled for the 2nd of December. This is the last teaching week of the semester, and we expect to complete this debate activity then. And we will need to be making arrangements and activities, setting that up as well. These are the topics that we'll be looking at for debating topics. With that comes documents, debate guidelines, rubrics, and of course the portal to submit rubrics when the debating activity is completed. I'll be recording the debate, so I'll as much as I can, I'll add the recordings of the debates to the e-classroom as well. So, and then that brings us to the last section, which is student chapter presentations, where as your presentations are completed, I will be loading the recordings of those presentations here. So if you look at the e-classroom, it looks a bit scanty. It doesn't look like it has a lot of stuff on it. And that's because together, you and I, as a class, we are going to be building the content of this class with the activities that we get up to throughout the class. Any questions about this so far? Maybe you have a good bit, so I don't know, maybe you want to delay it. If you have a question, just put up your hand and I'll deal with you at this point. No questions so far? All right, so let's get swinging again. Let's look at the course schedule. Everybody seeing this? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So this is downloadable right now from the e-classroom. But there's some work we have to do with it. But before we get that, let's understand what it's trying to talk about. So we have a schedule of activities, and you'd see, as we said, today's class is the 9th, and it says the topic or activity is getting acquainted and planning. So we did the acquaintancy part earlier, so now we're in the planning process. After that, in the next following weeks, I will be presenting the various units. Um, chapter um, I should say it's actually chapter presentations. All right, so I'll be dealing with chapters 1 to 3, and I'll be utilizing these 3 dates, which gives you some planning time. The 16th, the 23rd, and the 30th. We don't have any holidays interrupting our classes for this semester because of the Tuesday placement in the week, but some of the other classes have some disruptions. All right. We will be setting up smaller groups to deal with the other chapters, and we'll come back to that in a little bit in terms of allocating people to the various chapters that we have. We have 10 chapters to present out of the 2 textbooks that we're looking at. With everything working the way it ought to, the last day of class is the 7th of December. That's for the semester teaching class. After the 7th of December, for those of you who have final exams, you will have your final exams will be scheduled in the next 2 weeks following the 7th. This class does not have an exam, so you don't have to worry about exams for this. Okay? We do have various forms of evaluation, which we spoke about before. We have a midterm exercise, we have a debate exercise, self-analysis, leadership action plan, and of course we talked about the group presentations. So let's look at that because that's probably the biggest chunk. So the group chapter presentations is worth 30%. So different chapters from the textbook will be the responsibility of smaller groups to teach the class. So I will go through chapters 1 to 3, which is section 1 of the first textbook. When I say the first textbook, um, I'm referring to this book, the Leadership Experience book. Welcome back, Miss Barbados. All right. So yes, I'll be leading off the first chapters of this textbook, Exploring Leadership. And then after that, we start getting presentations from, well, I shouldn't say presentations. What I should say is I should really refer to them as teaching sessions from different parts of the class, from different groups in the class of the different chapters of the text. All right. and I'm going to be evaluating you in terms of your content coverage. So basically, you have to present the material in the chapter, but you can support that material with other sources of information that you can find, be it small video clips or images or other things that you may be able to find that will help to support your presentation. So I'm going to be evaluating you first by making sure that you cover the substantive amount of content from the chapter. I'm going to evaluate the examples that you utilize in order to make those presentations understandable to your audience, and that impacts on the clarity of your explanation. You'll probably need to utilize or make some recommendations for your students, because now you're going to have to look at it as your students as to what they can do to move the idea and the concepts that you've presented to them forward. And of course you're going to have to I'm going to be looking at the use of introductions and conclusions in your presentation, so I should already put that here as well. Introduction and conclusion. So these are things I'm looking for in your in the presentation in terms of the content that you're presenting. That will count for about 60%. Then I'm going to be evaluating your style of delivery, the quality and degree of class interaction. So did you stop and allow for questions to be asked? Did you pose questions to the class so that they can, you know, uh, develop a sense of involvement? So those are the kind of things we're going to look at. And I know there's a hesitance on the part of the class to respond, but remember, this is a marked activity, and your willingness to help another group will reflect itself in their willingness to help you in the future when your presentation comes around. I'm also going to be evaluating the nature of the presentation aids that you utilize. That might include a PowerPoint or some other visual that you're utilizing, because if we're doing it on an online basis, we want to make sure that there are things that help point us towards the information that we're looking at. Um, Most of you here have done COM 108 already. Yes? No?
No, sis.
No, you haven't. All right. Who besides Miss Hussein, who else has not done COM 108, oral communication skills?
Mm.
Nathan, you haven't done that yet. Madeira, Cyrus. All right, you can put your hands down. This is Miss Farrell, Faithful. Good few of you all. All right, so we'll have to try and mix you all up a little bit with other groups. Orel, Miss Brown, you haven't done, or you have a question you want to ask?
No, I haven't done that.
You haven't done oral communication skills. Aren't you a mass communication student?
Yeah, but they changed up a lot of the courses.
Did you do COM 118?
You have to tell me what it is to
Yeah, that one is workplace communication.
yeah, I did that one.
All right, but you didn't do oral communication skills. So workplace communication also.
You know what? I'll have to check back my listing because it's been a while.
All right, but if you did COM 118 or COM 108, there's an overlap between the two. One is just a little more focused on business communication skills, and that would include business presentations, whereas oral communication skills focuses intently on how to go about doing effective presentations. All right, so don't panic. I think you all have enough information there. But it means therefore that people who have not yet done either of those courses would need to pay attention to how they design their presentation aids. And of course, one thing that I'm going to pay attention to is time management. So you would have you'd have an hour and a half to present your chapter, because the chapter is fairly substantive. And of course, with any sort of presentation, there I'm going to be evaluating your use of citation, both in text and spoken. So we'll see how that can work out. And we have a few library people here with us, and they would understand the importance of using appropriate citation. It adds credibility to your present to the information that you're presenting, and also indicates that you're not thieving people thing. All right. Now, how this is going to work is every day that we have presentations, every week we have presentations, there will be two chapters being presented. So you'd see presentation 1 and 2 on October the 7th, which is chapter 4 and chapter 5. Um, you would Both groups would present their chapters, and then after the both presentations are completed, we will talk to the class a little bit, because you have up to an hour and a half per chapter to present. And once you're finished, I will then call each group back in privately to the classroom and have a chat with them and give them their scores out of 100% in relation to what they've been able to accomplish. So you're going to get immediate feedback into how well you've done. Now, I'm expecting, because I did say on the e-classroom, there's a portal to upload group presentation documents. Now, what I'm looking for there is probably the PowerPoint document that you've utilized. Do not submit those things until after you've presented. The reason being is that if for some reason some sort of error took place, I'd like to offer you an opportunity to correct it before you submit your final documents. That makes sense? Sounds reasonable? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Okay. More importantly, you're gonna know where you stand with this first 30% exercise right off the front, um, right off the burner, so that you'll know where you position yourself. Now, I'm expecting that every group will do well and they will get A's in their presentations, which means their presentations will be earning them 90% and more. All right, out of that 30 marks, which means you're going in with really good marks into your other assignments, which will then allow you to be able to get an A overall, or at least a B plus. All right. Okay. So obviously, with that being said, any questions about the presentation? So as we said, the time management is one of the aspects we're looking at. Therefore, we're looking at utilizing 1 hour and 30 minutes. Now, I
I
know
see.
that sounds like a lot, but when you have to present a chapter, that could come up short. Yes, Victoria? See your hand up.
I
Yes, sir. I just wanted to find out
Hmm.
if during the presentations, one person presented or the team itself, or that is to be decided among group members.
Well, yes, that
Okay.
for me, my thing is you would know when you all meet and start to talk to each other how best to utilize the resources you have available. If you've decided that one person is really, really good and would probably be the better person to present, then so be it. But the other person should have some role that they're playing. Maybe, doing the introduction, which doesn't require a lot of heavy lifting, something like that. But
So I
everybody from
guess
the
the
group
requirement is everyone
should
needs to say
participate
something or should participate.
in the
Okay.
presentation. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Though in some instances it might be minor, some it may be major, or more evenly distributed, because some of the chapters are longer. So that's something that you want to pay attention to. Yes, Miss Brown, I see your hand up.
I thought you were ignoring me, sir.
No, I was finishing answering Victoria's question.
Right, so I did come 118.
Uh huh.
A lot of comes actually.
You would have done a lot more comms than everybody else.
Yeah,
So you should have a better understanding of what makes up for an effective oral presentation.
I do.
Good. All right. So that being said, we understand now what I'm looking for here. I'm looking for a good, but in essence, it's a misnomer to say that it's a presentation. It's not really a presentation. What you're technically doing is teaching the class the chapter, because so for all intents and purposes, everybody's supposed to read all the chapters. But we know students, right? You are all students. You're only going to read the things that are most relevant to you, correct? So if you know you have to present chapter 5, then you're going to read chapter 5. Forget about chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, and anything else. You're just going to focus your attention on that. Um, so if knowing that students, your fellow students are not going to read the chapter doesn't mean that I can't tell if you've missed out stuff from the chapter. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to be presenting, or I should say, teaching the class the chapters from the textbook. Yes, Victoria's hand was up first, so let's hear your question.
Hi, sir. I just wanted to find out, um, AI. Are we allowed to use AI? Yes? No?
If you're using AI, I would say sparingly, but also you'd
Hmm?
need to cite it.
Okay.
All right.
So
Yeah.
if I
So
use AI to reformat a sentence that I
no,
created,
that's minor. Um, but
so at
I,
what I'm just trying to find out
I was thinking
or
if you
ascertain.
were going to use like an AI, what do you call those things that replace people? Um,
No, 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 no.
if you were going to have an image of or facsimile image of yourself or voice that you're going to use as a voiceover or something,
Mm-hmm.
uh, uh, sparingly
In that
utilize.
instance, okay, no problem.
Yeah,
I
right?
understand. I
Okay.
just wanted to find out on the position as the
Well,
policy
the
indicated it is up to the lecturer.
right. So my thinking is AI is supposed to add value, but sometimes the AI gets in the way. So if the AI is adding value, fine. If it's just getting in the way and you could have done a better job, you might get punished for it. So be selective about what you're using from AI. All right, make sure it's adding value and it's not just standing in place kind of thing. Make sense?
Yes, sir, noted. I totally
Okay.
understand.
All right, Alexandra, what's up? See your hand is up.
I have a question about the submission of the group presentations. You say it will be through PowerPoint, right?
Well, yeah, but like so, if you set up a PowerPoint with a whole set of GIFs and small videos, you probably won't be able to load that on the e-classroom because it'll be too big. Because the max size of file that position that site allows, let me show you, is if I go here, you'd see that the max size that's allowed is 100 megabytes. Now
Okay.
that's relatively small. So what
Yes.
I always say is, okay, you can make your massive file for your presentation, but when you're going to upload it, PDF the document, because all I really need is evidence of work done more than anything else. Because I'm also recording your presentation, so I'll have a audio video recording of the presentation, and the group presentation document would be, like the like a PDF of your presentation, unless of course the presentation itself is small enough to upload by itself. That makes sense, Alexandra?
Yes, sir. And I have one more question.
Go ahead.
Um, is a group, so everybody in the group had to submit the
No,
presentation?
only one person from the group needs to submit.
Okay.
All right, not everybody. All right.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Thank you so much.
No worries. All right. Make sure you put your hand down just in case other people want to ask questions. All right, that brings us to assessment two. We spoke a little bit about the debate, and this debate takes place later in the year. So we will come back to this later on. Um, about halfway through the semester, we will start to make some preparations for this and set up the teams for this. All right. Um, I'm lowering your hand, Alexandria, unless, of course, you had another question you wanted to ask.
No, sorry, I was
Forgot.
trying to lower it.
All right, no worries. Okay, so the midterm assessment is for 20% and it takes the place of three compulsory short response questions and is submitted like an individual assignment. Now, I'll take you up here and what I'm going to say to you is that the midterm exercise ranges over a time frame. I think the only time you can start working on your midterm exercise or midterm reflections is the 14th of from the 14th of October I'm saying you should be finished with it by the 26th and then upload it. Why the 14th? Because by the 14th of October, we would have covered chapters 4, 5, 6, and 7. The reflective questions are coming from chapter 6 and 7 primarily. So only after we complete the presentations of chapters 6 and 7 can you really tackle it. However, that would mean in doing the question, if you were the person presenting the chapter, then you may want to go into the chapters themselves to look at the information. It's not meant to be an exam, and it's not meant to pressure you. So the idea is if I give you a couple of weeks to do it and get it put away, be fine. That doesn't mean if you run past the 26, I won't accept it. And you'd find I'm a very forgiving lecturer when it comes to assignments, because I don't know what's happening in your personal lives, and therefore I don't want to say, absolutely I'm not accepting anything late. But there is a cutoff date, but we'll see how I'm trying to make it as flexible as possible for you. So what I'm saying is once we complete the chapters, you could start dealing with the reflections on this. Because the way the questions are asked, let me show you the questions because I'm not hiding anything. The questions are asked, yes, it relates to content that we're dealing with in the class, but what it really focuses on is for you to evaluate your personal experience with these things, with these particular concepts that you're going to meet in terms of group development, group conflict, because the text is going to talk about how do you deal with conflict, and identify what kind of conflict you're with. So the activities or the reflective exercises we're talking about here are designed for you to engage in reflection in who you are and how you've worked with these things before. So that's with groups and teams. We also have one here with ethical thinking, and then we have another question here that examines ethical dilemmas. So just before these become live, I'll go through these in more detail and give you all more um, distinct, what's the word I want to use? Instructions, more instructions about it if you need it. All right. But again, from the e-classroom, that is downloadable straight off the e-classroom from here. So once you click on this, the um, the midterm reflections evaluation document is here. So if you want, you could go in and download it now so that you could start to have a look at it. I don't expect submissions for this until, of course, coming in until after the 14th of October. All right. I will just know who's late and who's not, but it doesn't mean I am not going to kill people if they don't quite make it in time. All right. So don't panic about that. All right. Any questions about that midterm exercise? No? Yes?
No, sir.
Nope. Seems
No
seems okay.
questions here, sir.
All right. Good. Faithful. See your hand up.
I would
Mitchell?
like to know, like, if the participators, like group members, right? Will they be getting same credit or anything?
S- What? Say that again. Ask that question again because you were
I
breaking
would
up a
like
little.
to know. Okay, I would like to know if they are participative group members, if they will be given the same credit or anything.
If they were unparticipative,
Yeah, like not assisting
no.
in the projects and
No,
whatever.
if we set up groups and there's members for your group who's not working, then they don't share no work. No, that'll be unethical. If you don't do any work to warrant a grade, is it fair that they get the grade? Everybody here, put up your hand if you think they should get a grade if they didn't do any work. Yeah? Well, I see no hands are up, so that means everybody agrees they're not going to get any marks. All right. Does that answer your question, Miss Faithful?
Yes, sir.
Mm. But
Yes, you can see.
the only way I would know that is the case is if the people from the group say something. Yes, correct.
See.
Mm-hmm. So full disclosure, bleh,
Yes, see.
full disclosure will be required. We'll get into grouping in a little bit. All right. The fourth assessment is self-analysis. This is one you could probably start now, but this will take you some time to do. What you're doing is you're developing a self-analysis, not necessarily an autobiography. Now we've listed a couple of questions here that will help you kind of guide your writing. But in essence, what we're trying to get you to do is to use self-reflection to work out why you are the person you are today. Um, or if you've never even really thought about what has made you the person you are today, this exercise is designed for that. So this is a highly personalized um, piece of work that you're doing. And I'm saying to you that the work that you're presenting here is going to be held in strict confidence. In fact, all of the work for this class is going to be very confidential because most of it is about your personal thoughts, opinions, and sometimes the actions that you've taken um, in the past that may or may not be legal. Because sometimes we live on the edge and we do things that are not necessarily fair or ethical in nature, but it's part of our learning process. So those are things that I think you would need to engage with to be able to understand yourself better. Why are you the way you are? And a lot of it has to do with what took place in your life prior to where you are now. So people in your life from your family. That's why we start off with your family history and your customs and traditions as a family, because most of us develop our personalities based upon how our families have existed and what we do in our family situations, because they have the biggest, or they have the potential to be the biggest influence on who we are as an individual as we grow up. That makes sense? So this self-analysis is going to be one that I expect you will spend a good bit of time writing about and understanding yourselves better. Because as somebody earlier talked about, in terms of becoming a better leader, you need to first know yourself. And knowing yourself means being brutally honest about who you are as an individual. Now, I'm allowing here the use of pictures, images, to help, and quotations from other sources of information that you think might be useful in terms of stating or saying the things you want to say. The difference here is that if the images and photos that you're using are yours, then you don't need to cite. But if it is that you're using stuff from somebody else's sources, then you'd have to cite it. All right, so that's a kind of catch 29 there. So like if you have photos of your family and people who are important to you, and you want to include images, copies of those images with your assignment, feel free to do so, because for you this is about your personal analysis, and attaching those images and pictures might be useful in helping to generate the kind of reflective analysis that you're looking for. Now, unfortunately, I have to still mark that activity. So I've set up a marking scheme here that I try to follow. So 5 marks for the introduction, 5 marks for your conclusion, 5 marks for citation if needed. If no citation is required, then you still get the 5 marks. You're not going to lose any marks. All right. Each question is assigned a basic value. Some a little more than others, indicating that some of these questions may need a little more fleshing out than others. All right. The bigger area that I can actually exercise a little more control on is your use of language, which includes the grammar, punctuation, spelling, sentence construction, word selections. that you've utilized, and then the way in which you organize your document. Font size, please use readable fonts because I already wear owl glasses, so please don't get me more blind than I'm at. Double line spacing also helps. Title pages, page numbers, and a contents page if you exceed 4 pages in length. Now, this assignment, like the other assignment as well, we don't have a word limit. Some people's lives are filled with a plethora of influences, and you need to get it out and you need to explore it. So there is no word limit set up for any of these assignments because I want you to be as free flowing as possible. This is a 20% exercise, so it's part of what contributes to your final grade. Now, the last assignment is reflections on leadership action plan. So the first question here, you should probably answer it tonight. Let me just undo that. Which is, as you commence this course, reflect on what your expectations of the course, your lecturer, and yourself. This question should be completed by the second week of the semester. So by next week, what I would suggest to you is start a file somewhere called Reflections on Leadership Action Plan for this class. That's the assignment. And answer question 1 and put it down. Because as you can see from question 2, at the end of the course, reflect on how your expectations identified above have or have not been met. So obviously, you cannot do this class until we finish the course. That makes sense? Buddy following that?
Yes, sir.
All right. So this is why you're going to have to do this after we've finished all the classes and the debate activity. So again, there are questions to kind of guide you through it. I'm allowing again the use of images and quotations and stuff like that. If it's your own stuff, you don't need to cite. If, however, it is stuff from other people, then you of course need to utilize the appropriate citation. Again, similar to the self-reflection, there are these assigned marks per question, and then the similar type of use of language and document organization. Because again, this can't have a word limit because for some people you might want to say more or than anything else, but I'm giving you leeway to really express yourselves and go to town on things. All right. Now those are all the assignments. Now in terms of when they're due, you'd notice for those of you who may have gone here, the midterm I said I expect when you start on when we finish with the content on the 14th, you should probably start tackling it and getting it out of the way by the 26th of October. If you get down to the 30th of October, fine, that's not a problem. We said the debate activity. The debate activity is set up for the 2nd of December, but we'll be spending some time on week November the 11th and November the 25th in preparation. Those are the 2 weeks before. So approximately we'll have about 2 weeks before the debate for some prep time where we'll be getting together and dealing with the necessary preparations for the debating activity. Now, we said the self-analysis and the action plan 20 and 15. I have set the submission deadline as December 24th. Now, now remember this, huh? The semester ended at December 7th. The next 2 weeks, taking you up to the 21st, would be exam week. Suppose some of you all might have exams, but from what I see, the majority don't tend to have a lot of exams. At least you might have 2 or 3 exams for those of you. So I'm saying by the 24th of December, you should be finished and submitting everything. So technically, I am not asking you to submit the work in the semester, but after the semester is done. And I'm allowing you to do this because I have until January the 4th to grade all your stuff and put it into to put it online into the grade book. So I'm obviously going to need some time to mark your stuff and upload it. Now, I don't expect I'll be marking anything on the 25th and that type of stuff. So, I mean, if you all are running a bit late, I might be able to give you all until the 26th of December or 27th of December. But I need time because there's just like less than a week for me to mark everything and put it up from the 24th. So I'll kind of cutting it close there at the 24th to give me sufficient time to be able to mark your work and put it up. But I want to give you all as much time as possible so that you can, you know, put your best foot forward in relation to these assignments so that you get the best possible grades. Does that sound fair, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
Does it
sir.
does it sound doable? Do you feel stressed by the deadlines that you're seeing here?
No, sir.
All right, that's one person, but and everybody else feels the same way? Because I'm
Well,
trying as much as possible not to overly stress you all because I would like you all to really enjoy this course and really benefit from the analysis and the work that we're going to do. All right. So with any questions? Nope. All right.
No,
Don't seeing
sir.
any. All right. Well, let's get into the next activity, which is we need to start assigning folks to the various chapters. Now, because of the size of the class, um, so we now have 25. When I initially checked, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 then leaves 15, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 3. So we have, these are small groups. In fact, you can't really call two people a group, but we'll have to deal with it that way. Because normally the classes are set up at 30 students, so you usually have 3 people per chapter. But in this instance, we have 25, so I'm seeing um, presentations 1 to 5 will consist of teams of 2, and presentations 6 to 10 will consist of teams of 3, and that will mean everybody will be assigned to a group. Now, I don't want to assign anybody. I would prefer people volunteer for um, volunteer for a chapter. So let's look at the chapter headings and kind of give you an idea of what content you're going to be looking at. So chapter 4 is a chapter about understanding self. Chapter 5 is understanding others, and you could see how they are related to each other. All right. Chapter 6 is integrity and moral purpose, and chapter 7 is teams and groups, working in teams and groups. Chapter 6, presentation 5 is the first chapter from the DAF textbook, which sort of repeats moral purpose from chapter 6 here, but this one deals with it from courage and moral leadership. So that's the first DAF chapter. Then we come back to the exploring leadership textbook and we go to chapter 9, being in communities. We go backwards a little bit into that chapter and look at complex organizations. And then from that point onwards, presentations 8, 9, 10, and 11, we go straight to the DAFT and we start with chapter 13, vision and strategic direction. Then we go back to understanding power and influence, chapter 12. Then the last chapter that we're presenting is chapter 15 from the DAFT, leading change, which is one of the most critical things that we need to be looking at, especially in the modern world that we're living in, because we're living in a constant bit of change that's taking place all the time. All right. So as we could see, the later chapters tend to be a little more involved, and the earlier chapters may not be as dense in terms of the content, but they're all significant. And the other part of this is they must be done in this sequence, because the sequence is important, as one set of concepts lends itself to understanding the other set of concepts. So there's this linkage and connectivity throughout the chapters. That's why it seems mixed up, but it's not really. It's actually to create a kind of continuum of ideas as we move from one to the other. So at this point in time, what I'd like to encourage you to do is to volunteer for chapters that you think you might like to tackle, that you're interested in. All right. So, wow. Okay, I see hands up already. All right, just let me prep myself here to be able to do this properly. All right. So first hand up is Miss Brown. Miss Brown, what would you like?
Chapter 7.
Teams and groups.
Yes, correct.
Okay. All right. That'll be okay. So first person. So once you put your hand up and you got a sign, you can put your hand down. Sydney,
So chapter 5.
chapter 5, understanding others.
Yeah, with Antime Christopher.
No, no, no. You can't volunteer people. It don't work so.
Well, she had to drop out of class, so we were just talking
All
on
right.
WhatsApp.
Okay. Well, just because you're asking nicely. So the two of you all want to do chapter 5. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right, Sydney. Miss Hines,
Yes, sir. I'd like to do chapter 6, integrity and something.
integrity and moral purpose. That is chapter 6 from the draft. Huh? Oh, sorry. No, chapter 6. There are two chapter 6s. So is it presentation 3 or presentation 5?
Presentation 3.
3? Okay. All right. All right, Miss Hines. Melissa, put your hand down, Miss Hines. Miss Victor.
So I was thinking about originally presentation too, but because it's gone already,
Uh huh.
you
Take
could
one now. Take
I
presentation 1.
sure, no problem.
All right, good.
Hi, hi, sir. I can't raise my hand.
Why?
It's not working. I don't know why.
Who's this, by the way?
Alexandra.
Uh huh. What do you want?
Group 4, presentation 4.
With Miss Brown?
Yes.
I
Miss,
don't know.
Miss Brown, you okay with that? Well, you don't really have much of a choice. All right, so Alexandra, Hussein, and Brown. Okay, so that's the only one I'm allowing. Tegan,
I was gonna pick presentation for as well. So no, I don't know.
we don't know. What about
Mm-mm.
joining presentation 1?
Understanding.
Self,
What is it?
understanding self.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and you're going to be working with Melissa Victor. The earlier chapters tend to be a little more, what's the word I want to use? More straightforward. The others tend to get really, especially the daft, they tend to get a little hyphenated. Superville,
Yes, sir. I was going to pick chapter 4 as well.
too late. There are two people
Yes.
allowed for that. Well, we have chapter
Um,
3
I'll do chapter 6.
with Heinz.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, Tegan, put your hand on Amar Singh. Alyssa,
Chapter 9, sir.
being in communities. All right, so this one allows for 3 people, huh? All right. Thanks a lot. Cyrus,
Hi, I'd like to do presentation 5, chapter 6 to the DAF textbook.
all right, good. There we go. So that's one. You're allowed one more person there. Sosa,
Hmm. All the
hmm,
fun ones are gone.
they're all fun.
So let me see. Well, all of the chapters in the other text is gone,
No, not yet.
except
We still
for
have complex organizations, and
complex.
you have 2
Uh,
spaces in chapter 9,
hmm.
and
Um, complex organizations. I think that may fit me because I work in a dynamic environment.
mhm, sounds about right. Yeah, but you
Yeah,
are allowed.
so
You are going to have 2 other people with you. All right.
This is
Oh,
totally out of my comfort zone, complex organization.
this is good. Put yourself there
Yeah.
because this is the opportunity and it's a safe environment to do that exploration.
So, chapter
Miss,
9 for
Okay.
Caleb, please.
sorry?
Chapter 9 for Caleb, please. I had my hand raised for.
Well, I was kind of going. What happens is the raise hand works in order of when people raise their hands. But who is that speaking though?
Caleb also.
What chapter you wanted?
Chapter 9.
Or power and influence? No, being
No,
in communities. All right.
yes.
Okay. All right. Let me ask Miss Jones what you wanted to do.
So I think I'll take presentation 5 with Rochelle.
All right. That closes off that presentation. All right. Okay. Enda.
I was thinking chapter 12.
Power and influence.
Yeah.
Okay. Sahadeo. Chanel.
So I could choose chapter 12 as well.
Of course. There's space there, so there's not a problem. All right. So Enda, Sahadeo, put your hands down, please. The person pretending to be Brian Smith, Candace.
Yes. Um, lead and change.
Lost.
Presentation 10,
All right.
chapter 15.
Hmm. Okay. Thank you. All right. I'm putting Enda's hand down. Brian, put your hand down. Stephen.
I wanted to do chapter 12, but I was thinking of doing
Well, chapter 12 has space for one more person.
oh
This
I
is
could
a
do
group of three. Yeah,
oh
you can still do
I
it.
would like to do that one, power and influence.
Stephen, what's your surname again? All right, Chanika. Power and influence. Right. So this is a team of three here. So
Oh,
so chapters 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 are all teams of three. Okay. All right. So Candace needs two people. Sosa needs two people. Boisson and Amar Singh need one, and there are three people for vision and strategic direction. So Boisson, you can put your hand down. Faithful, where would you like to go? Faithful.
So what about presentation 6? This is
Um,
chapter 9, I think.
yep. Yeah, there's space for one more there. Yeah. That's with Amar Singh and
Okay.
Kayla. Yep. So you've closed
Yeah,
off
well,
that.
those names I'm seeing as well.
Right. That's where we close off now. So presentation group six is presentation 6 is filled. So now we have 7, 8, 9, and 10 that still need people. So we have Miss Eastman, Cheryl.
So on presentation 10,
Leading change?
yes.
No problem. All right. Nathan? Yes, Nathan?
Yes, sir. Not sure which one it is. I would say chapter 13.
Vision and strategic direction?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. I figured that might appeal to you, yes. All right. Dries? Janella?
Presentation 8. Well, no, 7. 7.
With
Chapter
Sosa?
8.
All right, cool.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Dries. Andy?
It's 7, 8, and 10 available.
7, 8, and 10, yes. Those are
Honestly, I don't mind either one. It's fine with me.
let me put you in 8 now so we can at least have 2 people there.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, because the others have at least 2. And all right. Miss Farrell.
So presentation 8, please.
With Andy and Nathan.
Yes, sir.
Will do, no worries. Okay, thank you very much. Miss Hudlin.
Say presentation 10.
All right, that will be this
Oh,
one.
sorry. Good night. Sorry, my God. Yeah. No, I'm coming out.
All right. So Miss Hudlin is in 10. That leaves us one person to assign into presentation 7. And that I think is the person who was absent today, which is Hassan Ali. All right. So Marissa Hassan Ali. All right. Let me just mark her in a slightly different color so that we know that we have to pay attention to her.
This turning out to be tricky. What if she never shows up? This might be a group of 2.
Yes, that we run the risk of that, but it generally no, don't panic, don't panic. Then you'll handle it as 2 people. What are you worried about? You're doing like, um, I don't know what doing. That's why I need at least 2 people in in a group, because if one person doesn't turn up, but I mean, generally what happens during this first week is that a lot of the students still kind of shuttling around trying to find their way. They're not checking their email, or maybe they've lost access, and right now IT is a mess. They can't reset nothing. It's a whole set of rubbish going on there. So, the beginning of an academic year tends to be a little tricky. So hopefully she turns up. If she doesn't, she'll more than likely withdraw from the class, and somebody might spring into the class, so we might have a new personality to deal with. All right, so far this is what we seem to have. We have Victor Melissa and Tegan Martin dealing with chapter 4, Understanding Self. Walters and Christopher, Understanding Others. Hines and Superville, Integrity and Moral Purpose. Brown and Hussein, dealing with teams and groups. Cyrus and Jones, Courage and Moral Leadership. Amar Singh, Boson, and Mitchell, dealing with communities. Sosa, Dries, and Hassanali, complex organizations. Kwanku, Madeira, and Farrell, with vision and strategic direction. Inda, Sahadev, and Shanika, power and influence. And finally, Christopher, Eastman, and Hudlin, closing us off on November 4th with leading change. So I think we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 is a 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Good. So we have everybody assigned. Now I know I'm going to save this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to update that document on the e-classroom so that you could download it. And what I would suggest to you guys, let me go to that section. Hold on. That'll be this course schedule with assignments. So I will edit this and I'll upload into it the new one for this class. And that will be from today, which is Tuesday. So this document here now reflects. So if any of you all downloaded it before, you could dump that one and grab this one, which now has all of the people assigned. What I'd recommend is that you reach out to each other and, kind of touch base. Everybody here has been able to access the WhatsApp chat group.
Yes, sir.
The only person that would probably be missing from that is the.
I'm not in that group yet, so
Why not?
I was having trouble joining.
You are? All right, let me try and help you. Um, I'm gonna put the link in the chat and see if you could grab it from there. See if that helps you. Chapter 10 members, please send me a text. Send this message in, Brian, send this message in the WhatsApp chat for Candace, aka Brian. All right. Chapter 9 members, I'll send you guys an email for you. All right. Actually, if you make, that's a list of thing. So, yeah, see you all reaching out to each other. But, you know, once you could get into the WhatsApp chat, it makes it even easier because you could set up your subgroups straight out of that. And you all could, somebody could create a group and then invite the others to join. Chapter or use the term presentation 1, presentation 2, that type of stuff. Because the chapters are a little misnomer because you might end up with 2 chapter 6s. Remember, there are 2 chapter 6s there. Sorry. All right. So if you say presentation 1, presentation 2, that's more unique in terms of saying, okay, chapter 6 and we have 2 chapter 6s. You might get some duplication taking place. All right. That's about it for tonight. Anybody has any questions or queries or things they want to get clarified?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to confirm if my group member is in the WhatsApp group.
Let's see who
Miss
your group
Janelle Dries.
Miss Dries, are you in the
Yes,
WhatsApp
I'm in a
chat?
WhatsApp group.
And
Okay. You would see my last tag name. Can you just private message me because I'm unable to identify which one you are? Yeah. Thanks.
Sure, no problem.
okay, so sir, you Hassan Ali is the other person who hasn't yet arrived.
So I have a question with my group member, Oral Brown, if she's in the WhatsApp group as yet.
Miss Brown? Miss Brown?
Hi. Just give me a minute, right? Because I don't know what's going on. I think I'll have to restart my laptop after the class because I have WhatsApp on my laptop and I don't know why it's not. The group is not open. I don't know.
Are you in the e-classroom? Can you get to the e-classroom?
So what I'm going to do, I copied the link and I will I'll work some magic. Don't worry.
Okay. Now, interestingly, I'm seeing Marissa Hassanali is on the e-classroom already. And she just joined. She joined on Sunday, which means I guess she was anticipating coming to class. Yeah, I'm seeing her name and number here. All right. See Candace, Alyssa. All right. Hopefully you'll be able to organize that. Let's see. So maybe you all could reach out to Miss Hasnali on the WhatsApp chat group and indicate to her that she's been assigned to a presentation. Yes, Miss.
It is for Oral again, Miss Brown. What is your number? So when you join, I could just add you to a private chat.
Miss Brown, can you answer?
Yeah. You want me to give it?
You can put it in the chat here, you know.
So let me take a picture right now. The Teams chat is saying we're having trouble loading your messages. Try refreshing. That's why I say I have to restart the laptop.
I see.
I don't know.
No, maybe you have too much apps open on your laptop.
I do because working. So
yeah, what you're having is virtual memory problems. You need to get a bigger hard drive um, anyway, any other questions? Guys, don't panic if you're still having these teething issues. Um, we have some time. We have at least 3 weeks where I am been doing presentations where we could tackle things. The people who are probably the most critical to get started as soon as possible will be presentations 1 and 2. That'll be Victor, Martin, Walters, and Christopher. Um, Interestingly, Walters, you and Christopher worked together before in another group.
Yes, so on many projects.
Okay, all right. Victor and Martin might be. So Martin, you're still here with us? Tegan?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Were you able to reach out and connect with Victor, Melissa?
Yes, I just messaged her, but I'm waiting for her to reply.
Is she here, boy?
Just saw the message.
All right. So
Okay,
respond and you all start to link up, right? You guys are probably the most critical because you all are the first set of presentations. Yes, Sydney.
So I'm also friends with Marissa. So normally she don't miss class. I reached out to her earlier once a day, but I didn't get on to her. But I already sent her a message to let her know what group she's in and with the
Fantastic.
individual she's with.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. You're such a considerate friend and student. It makes things a lot easier for everybody. This is the kind of cooperation I'd like to see across the class. All right, guys. I'm kind of finished for the evening. I don't think I need to go any further with you. I think we've covered and we've done our planning. Next week we will start our presentations. The only thing I could ask is if there are any other questions people want to get, any sort of clarification they want to get before we could call it an evening. Yes, maybe. Oh, one other thing I want to do actually. I want to start at 5:30, not at 5 o'clock. For 2 reasons. One, to give people who are heading home a little more time. And two, to give me some time off the 5 o'clock because that's really, for some reason, very quite busy. Would that be okay? 5:30 start instead of 5 o'clock? Might give people who
Yes,
are on
sir.
their way home time to get home.
No,
And
I'm still in work,
Yes.
right? So if we start 5:30, it means that I would leave work later. So either one way or the other, I would probably need to arrange flexi time because I don't think I want to stay in the office again this year. Yeah?
yeah, who's
So
this, by
leave
the
it
way?
as such. This is Victoria. So
Okay, okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Would it be okay if 5:30 startup will gives you time to mosey on home? What time do you
Yes,
finish work though?
4:30.
4:30.
Yes, they rob us of that 30 minutes. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So yes,
Do
I
you
finish 4:30 and I live in Remo.
and you're working where?
Forest
Holy crap.
Yes, sir.
Oh man, that's 2 hours of traffic.
And making the block on Abercrombie Street out to the highway isn't safe around this time. I'm not walking, if you're
Yeah.
wondering.
Yeah, even if you're
Even
driving,
though
it's
I'm in a secured car park, just making the block alone around Nalles Block, it's very, very, very desolate.
oh boy.
So if we start 5:30, I would leave the office
Would
by
you could join us
5:30.
via your phone
Yes,
or
I
something?
would be able to join you while I'm in the
But
cab. I wouldn't be able to
one of the
take
things we could do
notes.
is, you see, like the week you have presentations,
Yeah.
maybe you could get some time off and be home earlier to
Yeah,
ease
that's no
yourself
problem.
up.
I wouldn't
Yeah?
make that a problem. I'll wing it how I could.
No, 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 don't wing it. We want you to be comfortable and safe. All right,
No,
but
I meant the presentation. The day of the
yeah.
presentation,
Because
I will
in a lot of
make
the other cases, you'll just be listening in to what's happening.
which I don't like to do. I like to take my notes.
That's
But what
fine.
I'm saying is that the 5:30, if by 5:30 I'll probably reach by Mokoya. By 6 o'clock, I'll be probably driving into the development.
Okay. Hmm. That's still a
Yeah.
hectic run though. Trust me, I know about that. I used to do it all the time. That's why I love this online environment. Anyway, let me stop the recording. I think we've done everything productive for the evening.
So is class going to go 8 o'clock every